Hi guys, welcome to another video, and today I'm finding out which Avengers are worthy of Mjolnir, Thor's hammer for those of you who don't know. I'll be testing each Avenger to test their worthiness, but first we should determine what makes you worthy.
In the first Thor film, Odin says that the qualifications are to guard the Nine Realms, preserve peace, put others before yourself, and be willing to put down your life for the good of others. First we established that of course Cap is worthy, as we see him lift the hammer. We are obviously not going to talk about Thor as it is his hammer. Tony Stark would be seen as selfish, arrogant and cocky in Iron Man 1 and 2, but by the time of Endgame, I believe Tony's definitely worthy of Mjolnir. As in Age of Ultron, he attempts to build a robot to preserve peace and guard Earth. He lays down his life in Endgame, so Stark is worthy of Mjolnir. Hawkeye certainly meets the criteria of sacrificing his life, as he was willing to die unwarmly for the Soul Stone. However, the extent of Hawkeye preserving peace is joining the Avengers. Hawkeye also risks abandoning his family in breaking the Discovery Accords, so Hawkeye is not worthy. But also, for this we are talking about just the Hulk, not Bruce Banner. For Hulk, we should break down the criteria. Preserving peace, I think Hulk's catchphrase sums up whether he preserves peace. He isn't willing to lay down his life, and he tends to do more damage than protection. Black Widow certainly ticks off the box for laying down her life because she certainly preserves peace, and she's the main protector of Earth in the 5 years between Infinity War and most of Endgame. She meets all the criteria, but her past can't hold her down. For now she is worthy, but it could change depending on what happens in the upcoming Black Widow movie. T'Challa is certainly a good person and good king. He fights head-on in many battles, risking his life many times, and his main concern for his country is to preserve peace. He guards his country from the outside for as long as he can, and opened up the world once he realised Wakanda had to. Doctor Strange would be considered to be worthy, as he is master of the mystic arts and defends the universe, not just the Nine Realms. He was willing to sacrifice himself many times against Dormammu. However, he has the tendency to be quite arrogant, the very reason Thor was originally cast out in the first film. Doctor Strange protects the planet, but his arrogance gets the better of him. Ant-Man is one of the nicer, funnier Avengers, and is willing to do a lot to save the Earth. He risks going back into the quantum realms for 5 years. He is selfless, and he sacrificed himself in the first Ant-Man film by destroying Yellow Jacket in what he thought was a one-way trip to the quantum realm. But Hank Pym,
The moment things get hard, you turn right back to crime.
he lives jail, breaking the Accords, breaking his house arrest, and doing the time heist. Carol Danvers, as much as the actor says otherwise, is 100% not worthy of Mjolnir. Before I explain why, let me tell you that Captain Marvel is my least favourite Avenger. Carol Danvers is extremely arrogant and attacks first to ask questions later. She never expects to lose a fight. I will never place Captain Marvel on the worthy list. Okay, I'm sorry, but I have to include Star-Lord on this video, as I said every Avenger earlier. But Star-Lord is not worthy of Mjolnir. Allowing the rest of Star-Lord's designated time to give a Baby Groot and Baby Yoda. Falcon certainly preserves peace and fights knowing that he could lose his life in the fight. He definitely puts others before himself. However, Sam Wilson says that,
I'm not actually sorry, I'm just trying to sound tough.
indicating that given the choice, he keeps himself out of the fight, even if it is to save the world. The Wasp is a natural leader and a powerful superhero that never backs down from a fight. But that is why she wouldn't be worthy. Hope tends to put her own needs before all the safety of the civilians, like saving Janet. She was so focused on getting Janet that she just didn't care safety. Vision is worthy of Mjolnir, but not because he meets Odin's requirement, but because he can't not meet the requirement. Vision, being a robot, doesn't apply to the rules. We'd see this when he lifts the hammer but doesn't have the lightning powers, so Vision is worthy but not by the normal rules. Bucky Barnes is willing to fight for what he believes in and puts others before himself. He would be worthy of Mjolnir if it wasn't for his time as the Winter Soldier. I know that you're thinking, well, he was brainwashed, but what's done is done and he killed people. Barnes isn't worthy, but it's not his fault. I decided to put the Maximoff twins together as they are both quite similar. Very powerful heroes, but they both have a fatal flaw. They are both driven by revenge. Before they joined the Avengers, all they cared about was killing Stark, and after the vision, Wanda cared about nothing but killing Thanos. Okoye is loyal, perhaps sometimes to the wrong people, and being the leader of the Delora Mjölnir, excuse that terrible pronunciation, means she runs into a fight knowing she could lose her life. She definitely puts others before herself, volunteering herself for missions to help the T'Challa.
War Machine never backs down from a fight, and being a colonel, he is definitely willing to put down his life to save the country or planet. However, he doesn't really preserve peace with his name being War Machine. A name with war in the name implies that it doesn't really preserve peace. Rocket is cocky, self-centered and hot-headed. He is more concerned about himself than others. He doesn't sacrifice himself and he creates more conflict than he resolves. And although he is my favourite Guardian, he's certainly not worthy of Mjolnir. Korg is kind and has fought with his life on numerous occasions. He helps lots of people, so definitely puts others before himself. What puts him down on the worthy list is what he's most famous for: revolution. Korg holds several revolutions, and that is certainly not preserving peace. Drax is not worthy of Mjolnir. Although he meets some of the requirements, like self-sacrifice, he is arrogant, revenge-driven, and does not preserve peace. Drax is quite obviously not worthy of Mjolnir. Gamora and Nebula have certainly done great things in their time as Guardians, and Gamora is willing to sacrifice herself in Infinity War. But other than that, there isn't much further reason, as they are both close to Thanos, and Nebula hardly possesses peace, spending most time in Guardians of the Galaxy trying to kill her sister. The pair of them are not worthy.
Mantis is one of the kindest Avengers, and she always puts others before herself. She's one of the Guardians of the Galaxy, and Guardian is in the name, so she guards many of the planets or realms, as anything to call them. She has put her life on the line in any fight. Sure, she spent a lot of time with Ego, but at the time she knew nothing what was right and wrong.
Shirley has guarded Wakanda with her life a lot of times, which ticks off the guarding and being willing to put down her life. But she's never preserved or not preserved peace, so she hasn't had the chance to meet this requirement. Shuri doesn't often leave Wakanda, so she doesn't keep international peace or Wakandan peace.
Spider-Man is loyal, hardworking and obviously friendly. In Spider-Man Homecoming, all Peter cares about is doing something to protect the planet, and he is one of the best Avengers that preserves peace. He has put his life on the line several times, like saving Adrian Sims or the Vulture, and going back to fight after being hit by a train in the last encounter. Wong definitely takes off the protecting of the Nine Realms category, protecting the whole universe and probably a few other universes. He's willing to sacrifice his life, leading in the fight against Castellius. However, Wong is quite negative, and that means he doesn't really put others before himself. Valkyrie definitely protects the Nine Realms and preserves peace by fighting Hela, losing her best friend and almost lost her life in the fight. She puts others before herself before the fights against Hela. Once she got to Sakaar, she only cared about herself, money and alcohol. She was worthy, but Sakaar ruined those chances. Loki, by Infinity War, certainly is willing to sacrifice his life due to the fact that he does sacrifice his life. Between Ragnarok and Thor the Dark World, he somewhat guards the Nine Realms. He would be worthy by Infinity War if it weren't for his title, God of Mischief. The name hardly preserves peace and doesn't really put others before himself. M'Baku is certainly willing to sacrifice his life, and he kind of preserves peace, but he doesn't put others before himself. He protects Wakanda well, but he's a bit too selfish. Not is every Avenger, but is it every character? Here are a few characters that I think would be worthy. Coulson has always sacrificed his life. He certainly preserves peace and puts others before himself. I've not seen Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but I'm sure he is very heroic in it. Coulson is the reason the Avengers were formed, and in case you need reminding, he saved the world just a few times. Believe it or not, but I think Vulture is worthy of Mjolnir. He put his life at risk in the final conflict in Homecoming, trying to get stuff to sell to help his family. He purposely doesn't attract the Avengers of the FBI to preserve peace. He makes sure his crew doesn't shoot the deadly weapons to protect the local town. So this is everyone believed to be worthy of Mjolnir. So that is everyone. Let me know if you think I missed an Avenger or think someone was worthy but I didn't know otherwise.